Let me know when you're ready.
Nope.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll commence the 7th of December finance meeting at, looks like the clock says 10 minutes after 3. 3:08. Thank you. Any public comments in the queue? Okay, and let's move to the fraud risk discussion then.
Nothing to report.
Okay, well, that was easy. Item number 4, financial statements for November.
Okay, through November of 2021, we have actual revenues of $7,332,000, which is $390,000 over budget. Expenditures for this period is $7.4 million, which is $109,000 over budget. So our net is a negative $75,390, though the budgeted net is a negative $357,000, so we're doing better than budget. Capital expenditures through this time period is $307,264, and of that, $105,000 is funded by the COP. And then we have debt service principal of $463,000.
Is that that's the actual, is there a budget on debt service, or is that just reported as actuals?
No, because it's a liability. It doesn't show up on the net income statement.
Okay, thank you.
But that is according to the schedule. We have a schedule for payments, and that just follows those schedules.
Thank you.
And then, of course, the following pages are the graphs.
No surprises. Questions, comments?
It seems to me I've noticed that our pumping has gone down a little bit. And is that reflected in the income?
The consumption has gone down, so that would, yeah, so we've got that negative 87,000
Okay,
for revenue through this time period.
so they do track.
Yeah.
Do we have any idea what the reduction in pumping is going to be this year, or what it is to date?
Yeah, if I remember right, I'm just going to speak in kind of round numbers. When we were putting together the data for the replenishment fee, I think we're just under 6,300 acre feet. And so far this year, with a month to go, we're at about, well, we're probably going to end up being around 5,900 acre feet, something like that. We saw significant decreases in the months of July, August, and September compared to last year. And I'm relatively certain that just is reflective of the impact of the fees, the pumping fee and the replenishment fee.
Okay, so when we reconcile the replenishment fee at the end of the year, we should be getting some money back.
We're looking at having a credit going into next year, yeah. Of course, we've got one more month to go, but right now,
Sure.
Right now, I think we're somewhere around only $18,000, which on a projection of $4.1 million is pretty darn close. So, yeah, the trend probably for December, I would imagine we're probably going to be about the same as last year. November was a little higher than last year, but of course we had a warm November. Remember last November it snowed Thanksgiving, so we did see an increase comparing this November to last November. December remains to be seen, but if everything holds right, we might have a little bit of a credit going into next year with respect to the fee.
Okay. Also, do you have any feel for the impact of the man camp? Did we include that in the water pumping that we thought we were gonna do.
Well, yeah, we're definitely including that.
Well, we were including it, but did we include it in our original estimate?
That was before the man camp, when we did our estimate.
No, we did we did that prior to the man camp. And even with the man camp, we're still pretty close. And I did go back and look how much they've used compared to the budget. I've got it in my office. I don't remember what the number is, but I did print it out. Just out of curiosity, I shared it with you. Do you remember what I told you?
I don't remember, other than it was coming in below what they had projected.
Yeah,
just
they
'cause
had
they're not
projected-
fully-
Yeah.
I think they had projected annual use of like 39.2 acre feet,
Mm.
something like that.
And they were at
And
20.
they were actually
something.
below it.
Yeah.
I think it was like 23 or 25
I
acre
think they're
feet.
behind schedule all around.
Well, yeah, it's not fully manned from what I understand.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I think it was around 23 and a half acre feet compared to the 39 that they had projected roughly.
Well, we do need to watch the proposal to have temporary water, and make sure we jump on that if needed, depending upon where it goes. And I guess we still don't know.
I can talk to you offline after this because it's going to be discussed tomorrow during the GA meeting, but I can give you a little
Okay,
preview.
fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay, delinquent accounts report?
November, our number of accounts that would be subject to lock-off increased looks like by 50, from 258 to 308. The increase in past due is significant as well, 236,000 up to 287,000. Just a reminder that as of right now, December 31st is the end of the lock-off moratorium, unless it happens again,
Yeah.
and the week before there's an extension,
Mhm.
then, we'll be starting those procedures in January.
I would have thought maybe our position on the compensation for delinquent accounts at the last district meeting might have had some effects different from this. but-
Yeah, yeah, but,
Well, apparently there were a number of people or agencies who decided to opt out. Was it Don that sent us
And
something?
that article from Fresno, I think it was, yeah, it talked about it was mostly small water districts that said that weren't taking advantage of the arrearage, but there's some huge numbers, and I think statewide, if I read through that article, statewide, the liability was somewhere around $1 billion in unpaid bills. And I think it was the Fresno area. One of them was $4.1 million they were applying for.
that was
Wow.
Fresno, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a disturbing trend.
Mhm. Did we finalize our, whatever, it was an ordinance or whatever about the, putting the little
Flow
Flow
restriction.
flow
restrictors?
restrictors in?
No, the board, we were going to discuss that in September, and the decision was to put it off until we see what happens in December with the
Okay,
governor's order.
But Jim did advise us.
Take it
that
back up.
yeah.
Jim
But
did-
eventually.
Jim
it's-
did advise us it was within our purview to execute.
Yeah, we decided that it was legal for us to do it, but then we didn't do it. But eventually, I mean, the governor eventually, sooner or later, is going to have to pull that back, and it'd be nice for us to have, I think, made a decision.
Yeah, I still, in my opinion, it's a lifeline that customers don't have right now because, well, going back to normal circumstances where we could lock people off for non-payment, this kind of gives them a little bit of a breather.
Oh,
'cause
yeah, well,
We're
absolutely.
still giving them a little bit of water and giving them some time to
Mhm.
address it, but rather than
Yeah,
just locking them
it's-
off. so.
It should be looked upon as a blessing for them as opposed to a detriment, for
Right.
sure.
I'm taking it that we haven't had an increase in people coming in to negotiate a payment schedule.
No, I do have there is a camera up front and I have a screen in my office, and I have noticed this week and last week, several people coming in with yellow tags to pay, so
Yeah.
maybe they're realizing the end is near. We'll see.
Well, it's like in taxes, a penny deferred is a penny earned, you know.
Right. All right, thank you. Accounts payable.
Yeah, so you have the two accounts payable runs we did in November. Starting with the first, of course, we've got the 386,000 that went to the Groundwater Authority.
And that's the total for that month?
Yeah, pumping and replenishment. Following pages, Aqua JPIA, 79,000 for insurance. We
I'm
paid,
sorry. Which page are you on?
Second page of payable.
Second page.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get the message. Okay.
Just a comment on the JPIA, I mentioned it at the last meeting. They're anticipating a 10 to 15% increase in the liability premium due to, things like all the wildfires that happened in California and other tragedies across the U.S., which is allowing the insurance agencies to recoup their losses. But they're anticipating that increase to be about that much for the next 3 years. So we're going to see a 15%
every year for 3
premium
years.
increase, another 15% premium increase, and another 15% premium increase. So its cumulative effect is going to be pretty big. I don't know what that specific piece of our insurance costs, but it might be something to look at, to throw into the rate study that we've been
Right.
thinking about having.
Then usually the first of the calendar year is when they'll send out estimate or what our next year's premiums are. So we should be seeing that in the next couple of months, so we can incorporate it into the budget.
What is the Inyo County treasurer tax collector? That property tax?
That's property tax, yes.
That's a lot of property tax.
We have a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
got a lot of property.
I mean, is it just raw land?
Not all of it. Some of it's the
It
farm up
includes-
there.
It includes the Butterworth Farm,
Yeah.
alfalfa operation. Be that the Grant Airfield,
Mm-hmm.
the Stein property. I think that's all we have, just those three, Grant Airfield, Stein property, and Butterworth.
That's still a lot of property tax at 1%.
I don't know what the percentage is on that.
It should be 1%.
Well, residential is 1%, so obviously it's not residential, but that's still a lot of money.
And this isn't like payment one of two, like when we pay our property taxes, you have your payment in December and your payment in April. We pay it all in December
Yeah.
or
Well,
November in this case.
But even being the total,
Yeah.
Well, Grant Airport alone is over 300 acres, isn't it, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, Grant Airfield is on the west side of the highway. It's a large property. I don't remember number, just
it's really an airport?
Used to be.
there's an old airstrip there where the small planes used to land. It's not really an airport, no. They
No
call it
longer. It's not used for
Just a
landing.
dirt, yeah, pretty much just a dirt runway.
But doing
So
the
it's
math,
undeveloped.
Called it Grant Airfield. Years ago, I think, actually, when I first came on, there was a proposal from a company to put solar there, but
Oh,
it didn't work out, obviously. And there's really nothing that's been
Okay.
done with that since then.
but doing the math backwards, that's just saying there's a assessed value of, what, $2.5 million, right?
mhm.
That's not that much.
No, not for the property.
I would think there's.
Yeah, but we're paying it every year,
Right, but that's,
and are we getting anything out of it?
Well, Butterworth, we've got an established water right, whether we are able to ever take advantage of it remains to be seen, but it's a working farm that's producing water annually, so they've got a water right.
Mm-hmm.
Stein
Okay.
property, probably, I don't know that anything ever will come out of that other than maybe solar, but we had the the gentleman that leases the Butterworth, I had him look at that to give me an idea of how much it would cost to put that into some kind of a operating farm, and his estimate was around $1 million. And I can't see the district spending $1 million to put that land into, farming condition. And to even find somebody that would want to do it,
Right?
so.
Are these located in the same area?
The properties?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Butterworth, there's a property in between the Stein and the Butterworth, and then they're on the east side of the 395, and then the Grant Airfield's on the west side.
So it's Rose Valley?
Is that?
Alachua.
Yes, in Alachua.
Okay, so Alachua is north of Rose Valley.
Yes.
Okay. Guess we beat that to death.
Let's see, on the very last page, there's about 15,000 to Royal Industrial Solutions. That went for some work at well 35 and the electric valves, which I think is all well 35, isn't it? No, that was at some other well sites.
Yes, 4 other well sites.
Yeah. So,
4 other well sites, yeah.
and then Westwater Research for 11,000, that's part of the storage study.
Okay, you're talking about the last page.
Last page, yep.
Santa Fe?
Santa Fe Wind Water Works, that's just for our inventory supply when we need.
Pipe and
Pipe.
fittings. I noticed we don't have a Murphy and Everett's.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. Did you want to ask the public for Mel?
Yep, sorry, I'm just glancing over some of the numbers here. So the core in Maine, sorry?
That's inventory as well, where
Inventory.
we get some piping.
So are we, Director Cordell was mentioning at the last meeting that he'd been seeing quite a few increases in prices of stuff. Do we have a feel for what the increase in inventory costs have been
It's,
in rough orders?
there's been an increase,
Yeah.
definitely. We buy a lot ahead of time when we can get it. So, I don't know, we've probably seen how much increase you think in piping. It's
I don't
gone
know.
up quite a bit, but we're trying to keep it within our budgets. As far as, we haven't done as much road construction this year, or pipe construction in the roadways, mainly because we haven't had personnel at the time, but. So once those projects get going, which may not be till next fall, then we'll definitely see that impact.
Who's mindful of tracking that increase in costs? Where does
So-
that?
So the warehouse,
Yeah.
our administrator, when she prices out things, we look at it, and she goes out and hits up, 3 or 4 to try to find the best price. Goes into inventory, and then it's not expensed out until we have a project to tie it to, or what we're working on. And then we'll see that within the maintenance of streets, which will hit in your for the most part, transmission and distribution costs in the net income statement. So you see we're about 50,000 over our budget right now in that area, so
So maybe that's some of the price acceleration.
it could be.
Okay, yes, is there any comments or questions from the public? Nope, okay, thank you.
Recommend approval of.
In that case, I'll recommend that we move approval
Okay, yeah,
to the board.
yep, I agree.
All right.
And anything else we need to provide you?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, then. Well, we'll adjourn the meeting unless there's other comments at,
Okay.
you all right? Okay, adjourn the meeting at, 3:27. Thanks, guys.